Orlovsky, Justin Fields, talk to me.
So the guy you played golf with did not watch the game.
I can't speak to that one way or the other.
He threw 2 screen passes that went 110 yards. It's awesome. I love the fact that DJ Moore did that on his first touch. That's something that Justin didn't have. This is my feelings. Justin Fields is going to play at an MVP level this year. I don't think the team's good enough for him to win MVP. I think there's 10 quarterbacks that can win MVP this year. Justin Fields' good season looks like 4,500 total yards and 30-plus touchdowns. I believe he gets there. I believe that should be the expectation, and that is a good and big jump for a player that finally has some good talent around him.
Yeah. Look, I don't think, Dominique, I think the simplest way to say it is we'll know it when we see it. Like, I may have skewed this conversation by putting the letters MVP in there, because then it turns into a discussion about how good or bad the Bears might be. The reality is the biggest question in Chicago is, do they have the guy or not? And I don't know that the record will determine that. I don't know that the numbers will determine that. Nick, I think we'll just be able, you're going to see it. The answer yes or no is just going to show itself, and you'll know it one way or the other.
Yeah, I think he's the guy. I hope he's the guy. And we've gotten accustomed to seeing quarterbacks take big leaps. Talk about Hurts or Josh Allen. And you look at Justin Fields, and we used to say that leaps like that weren't possible. But if those players could do it, neither of them were as good as Justin Fields was in college. So if they could do it with the right talent around them, I believe Justin Fields can also.
100% right. Now,
last year some of those interceptions were because too many choice routes, and they weren't being on the same page. I don't care about Mike McCarthy's play calling in the preseason. I don't pay attention to units. I pay attention to individual performance. Deuce Vaughn has been awesome. I have said this, and I'll say it again. My concern out of Dallas is that everything is about don't turn the football over, don't turn the football over, don't turn the football over. Dak has been historically great on that. For people who think Dan Orlovsky's a Dak Prescott hater, no, I'm not. I don't want him, because I've watched Matthew Stafford, who's one of the most aggressive players ever with the football. I've watched him shell up when all it is don't give the ball away, don't give the ball away. I'm not going to give the ball away. You got to go beat Philly and San Francisco. You got to go beat Seattle. You got to go beat Detroit. There's going to be really good teams. So I think that, timing matters for every pass game. But I agree with Dom. I think one of the things that Dak does really well is get to the line of scrimmage, use his mind to see what defenses are doing, not necessarily get us out of bad plays. Dom, to your point, he does that, but get us into great plays. And I don't want them to take that away from him.
Real quick, Danny, I mean, your sense of that, is it going to look that different?
I think it will. I'm concerned, as Dan is, about, are they overreacting to last year's turnover issues, which have never been a problem before? And if that's the case, I wonder if they'll be less effective offensively.
All right. Dominique, we live in a world now where, because of the rookie salary cap, there is this pressure to get young quarterbacks on the field as quickly as you can, because you have to make up your mind as quickly as you can, and all of that. And it's not as expensive a mistake if you make a mistake on a guy in the first round. So we tend to play them more quickly, and we give up on them more quickly. And I don't think that's good business on either front. I'm old enough to remember a time when quarterbacks routinely served an apprenticeship. Bryce Young, I don't care how NFL ready he is. You have Andy Dalton in Carolina. Let him play a few weeks. The same can be said of Anthony Richardson and a lot of these rookies. Don't make them go out there and play week one. Let them understand whatever it is they learn from the sideline. Don't tell me you can only learn from playing. There's no question you learn things from being on the bench, from hearing the way the plays are called, from seeing the actual speed and intensity of an NFL game up close and personal that isn't a preseason game. I don't think any of these guys should be playing week one as rookies. Neek, what do you think?
Well, I think anytime you start messing around with absolutes, you probably messed up. But there are some players that are in position to play right away, and different players need to learn different things. So, yes, you can learn things from the sideline, but some guys need to learn the lesson they need to learn on the field. And I think a lot of the reason why they want to get young quarterbacks out there sooner is because they can get better fast. You can't get used to the speed of the game at practice. You're not going to get those complex, high-pressure situations. And I think teams that have championship on their mind, they want to get their young guy out there as soon as possible, because there are some things that you cannot learn in the classroom. So I'm with you. In a perfect world, yeah, slow down on it. But these quarterbacks are getting so much more experience younger and younger. It's not like years ago go. Like, they're 7-on-7 with professional level coaching in the time they're in the 8th grade. So some of these guys are ready and some of them aren't. So let's not slow down the guys that are just because.
But Orlovsky, I can see Orlovsky is licking his chops to disagree with me. The reality of it is, Danny, we're ruining half of them. If Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson, I know I'm focusing on the Jets, if Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson hadn't started week 1 for their teams, who knows how different things might have turned out. Go ahead, Orlovsky, go.
Yeah, I love you. The only way to get better at playing quarterback is to actually play it. I think 3 things have to factor in for these rookies, okay? Number 1, and this is all individualized, what's their mental makeup to being how tough they are? Do you believe that this guy is absolutely capable to handle the failures that are going to come with playing early in the NFL and to not allow it to negatively impact them? Number 2, do they have a skill set or a trait or talent that will allow them to survive? You guys have heard me say that. Can they survive a little bit? Bryce Young does. He plays that quick. And the third thing is, how many flaws do they have? Because I agree with the point that you make, Greeny, of we're seeing it with Jordan Love a little bit. If you have major flaws, we got to give you time to work them out. But if you don't, then I'm not overly concerned about it. It's very much so individualized. It is not a uniform or umbrella coverage.
Quick take, Graz, go.
We've also seen creative coaching staffs able to bring guys into the league and maximize what they do well while teaching them the things they need to work on. I'm thinking about Jalen Hurts. I'm thinking about Justin Fields. Thinking about Lamar Jackson. You know, I'm thinking about Josh Allen, right? So I think if you land in the right spot and you have the right kind of coaching, you can be on the field, but also not be thrown into a situation where you're overwhelmed.
I didn't mean it quite as the absolute that it may have sounded like, but as I think it makes sense to me as a rule of thumb. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.